And we are live. Thank you all for chiming in. We are a day late on our broadcast today, tonight. But we was handling some business yesterday, which was normally be our day for broadcasting the Black Liberation Movement. No, excuse me, the Black Liberation Podcast. But we were on the ground, boots on the ground yesterday in Greenwood, Mississippi. So we wanted to make sure that we have the broadcast tonight so that we can inform the people about the ongoings and what taking place, in real time tonight. I think we're gonna have a great show tonight. Uh, just put it all together today. I think we're gonna have a great show. But let me start out by saying, Salam alaikum, free the land, Habari Ghani. Whatever greeting you may perceive to be the appropriate greeting for yourself, how you doing, what's up, whatever it is. But I want to say power and peace to everybody that's viewing and acknowledge that I did say power and peace and not peace and power. Because in the constructs of white supremacy, we as a people, black people, will have no peace until we obtain our measure of power. We will have no peace until we obtain our measure of power. So thank you for chiming in tonight. I'd like to ask you all to share this broadcast with friends. Share this broadcast because we want to talk about something tonight that all of us should care about. All of us should care about what we're talking about tonight. Tonight's topic is Emmett Till and where we're at in that process. Emmett Lewis Till and where we are at in that process. Peace to our sister Miller Renee. We always glad to have you, sister, chiming in. You bring so much to the show, so much content to the show. And thank you for being what you are to this movement. Let people know that we on tonight. We're talking about something that has affected us all. It has affected us all. We're talking about Emmett Till and where we're at with that whole brand new saga that's taking place right now. And yesterday, the Black Liberation Movement in Mississippi on the Move were boots on the ground, uh, actively involved in the ongoings and the happenings as it happened. As it happened, we want to make sure that we're on the forefront of things that we can have an effect on the outcome. So let's get into this because I don't want to be more than an hour with this. I want people on here that care. I want people on here that have a resolve about our people because we may be talking about Emmett Till, but at the end of the day, are we not talking about the humanity of black people? Are we not talking about the humanity of black people? Yes, yes. And that's exactly what's going on, Sister Miller. We making the steps and we met other people that want to make the same steps. And so what we gonna do is that we're gonna get organized around making the steps. Yeah, Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz, glad to have you, brother. Um, as a matter of fact, if you Crystal send a link to Doc in his inbox so we can bring him on uh, because we want to introduce to these people what's going on, make sure that they understand. But we want Malik, we want you to be there, brother, uh, to help us bring some more clarity to what it is that we got going on right here in Mississippi as we organize around this and begin to politicize ourselves in such a motion, in such a faction that we can mobilize behind this and make it all work out for the causation of our people. Uh, Godfather Billy Taylor, glad to have you on tonight, Godfather Billy Taylor, and Dr. Jeffrey Ryan Free Trail. Thank you. Send that link to Dr. Jeffrey Ryan as well, Sister Crystal, and make sure, Dr. Jeffrey Ryan, that you hang in here because we're going to have a thorough and robust conversation. Okay, listen, this is what I want to do. I want people to understand what's going on, because we may have some people right now that don't understand what's going on with the whole Emmett Till saga. What's going on with it? What's happening right now at this moment, in this junction in our evolution as Black people who have been suffering under the confines and constraints of racism and white supremacy since we were dragged to this country. Well, some of y'all may say, hey, I wasn't dragged here, I was already here. Some of y'all may say, I'm not Black, I'm Moor, I'm not African, I'm this or that, I'm that. But what I will tell you, that's fine. If that's how you want to categorize yourself, that's fine. But what I will tell you is that you suffer the socio-economic conditions of most Black people. And most Black people would consider themselves Black, and they would consider themselves Africans. Okay? So we suffer in those socio-economic dynamics together. And we all suffer under this common system of oppression that we call racism and white supremacy. So what has happened, is that history has come back around. Yesterday, on front of the courthouse steps in the courthouse in Greenwood, Mississippi, we talked about history. And I was glad that the ancestors inspired me to see it in this way. You know, to tell the people that history does not just travel in a linear line. The past and the future fleeting from each other. What happens is that history travels in spiral. Oh yeah, it's progressing forward. Oh yeah, we live in a three-dimensional reality of past, present, and future. But history has a tendency to spiral. So it'll come back around. But what are you talking about, Lumumba? What I'm talking about is that we have come back to a junction in our evolutionary development that we have to respond to. And based on how we respond will determine our future. Well, what do you mean, Lumumba? Well, it was John Henry Clark that said that history is a whole circumstantial, is a whole chronological circumstances of events that's going to continue to happen the way that it happened until you change it. Let me say it again. John Henry Clark said that history is a circumstances of events that's going to continue to happen the way that it happened until you change it. So what I'm saying is that you're not going to pray white supremacy up off your ass. See, while we revisited the Emmett Till situation, it was never resolved. It was never resolved. And when I look at all the components that bring this back to our reality, and set it right in our lap. Set it right in our lap, Zulu Shabbat. Set it right in our lap. Everybody that's involved with what's going on right now. The universe and our ancestors are telling and invoking us to respond. To respond. This atrocity took place in 1955. Took place in 1955 when Emmett Till was abducted after allegedly whistling or funneling, coddling, whatever you want to call it, this white lady whose ass we are in pursuit of. We are in pursuit of Carolyn Bryant Dunham. It started in 1955 with the power of a white woman to say something that don't have to even be true. And it caused Emmett Till a horrific death. A horrific death. And then my Baba Shabaka Africa said that Emmett Till's murder, his assassination, his lynching was the most famous and most polarized lynching in Mississippi history. So much so that it sparked the civil rights movement. See, I know y'all think Elon Musk rejecting Twitter to buy Twitter is more important. That's why we don't have people on this feed. See, we got to get our priorities straight. Yeah, we think Elon Musk not buying Twitter is more important than the causation and what's going on with our children today and what's going on with our brother Emmett Till, which essentially amount to our humanity. So what we want to do before we bring anybody else on, if you don't know about what's going on and what got us on 10, got us lit, got us ready to respond like a people with a humanity supposed to do, then we want to show you what has happened. Sister Crystal, get the video prepared. We want to show you what has transpired that has come all the way back around and fall and have fell right in our lap. The opportunity to respond like a people with a humanity and a value of life would do. We want to show the video because the warrant was discovered that was never served. The warrant was discovered that was never served to one Carolyn Bryant. In the warrant, she referred to as Miss Bryant, Miss Roy Bryant, if I'm not mistaken. And it was never served. So I want y'all to look at this video that was filmed yesterday live when we was on in Brookhaven, Mississippi. I don't think this is the video. That's not the video that we want. White lady. That's the video of Malik in North Carolina. We want the one that's that's in the courthouse in Greenwood yesterday with the brother Stockstill that was that was instrumental in finding the warrant. That's the one. The link that was put up, when you put the link up, Sister Catherine put it in the comments. It's a Twitter video of Malik and the circuit clerk in Greenwood, the one who discovered the warrant. If we can't get it up, we're gonna go head on. But I want to see if we can get that link up so that people can have a better idea of what is transpiring. Because we at a point, and my spirit suggests that we at a critical point of defining our humanity. Emmett Till's death sparked a whole civil rights movement because Mamie Till decided to open that casket and to show the world the horrific brutalization of her son. And it sent shockwaves all across the world. That a 14-year-old black boy could be treated so horrifically. Yeah, people know it was happening. But I'm thankful for Mama Mamie for having, I don't even know what to call it, the courage. Having the courage to do that and to polarize that so that the world can see. That's it. That's the video. So look, let's look at this video in the discovery of the warrant and how it was discovered.
We rolling today. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Go ahead and roll. Everywhere. Yes, sir. Okay, sisters and brothers, I'm here. This is an historic moment. We are at the Florida County Circuit Clerk's Office, the Florida County Circuit Clerk's Office in Greenwood, Mississippi, and this is Mr. Emmett Stockstill. Brother Emmett Stockstill is the man who discovered the warrant for Carolyn Bryan Donham in Carolyn Bryan in this courthouse. And that's where we are. We're at the courthouse where justice is due to be served. But before I get into all of that, let me just go into just historical fact. How did you find the warrant to be served in this case of the death of Emmett Till?
Okay. Well, and I can't take all the credit, um, sir. It started about 2 months ago. I got a call from Keith Beauchamp and Jariba Hill, Attorney Jariba Hill, and they were sort of looking for a warrant that they thought existed. They wasn't sure at all. So after discussing with him, I said, "Well, come to the Florida County, come to the courthouse. We go to the third floor where the old jail was located, and go through those documents, the boxes and paperwork, things of that nature, see whether or not you could get lucky and find the warrant." So, of course, he wasn't successful at that particular time. So he came back down to my office. We sat down, and I explained to him the process of how the warrant, if it exists, where it would possibly find and how we find it. So I began to talk to him about the whole process with the warrant itself. I knew if a warrant existed, that more than likely a judge had to sign an order. And I knew if the judge signed the order, then that order would be placed in the minute books, which is the minutes from all our court proceedings and things of that nature. Once we narrowed that down, I knew that there was a case file associated with that. So having known that information, of course, Keith, who is a filmmaker with the Emmett Till series and everything, he came back along with Emmett Till family members. His first cousin, her daughter, and her daughter's husband, along with another young female. They came down, they went to the basement, and right before they found Senator David Jordan came in. And Senator Jordan is a historian here in the Florida County. He's a state senator, city councilman, and have sued the city and state more than any person for black rights, you know. So anyway, he came down because I called them to let them know that Keith had came and went down to the basement along with them. And we sat down, we talked, took pictures, and they were reminiscing about some times when Keith and his crew came up to the state capitol to take pictures and everything with them and do a documentary with the state senate there. So right after Senator Jordan left, his right after he left, I came up and called me. Mr. Stockstill, he said, "I think we found it." And I went back down, got the file, looked at the file, that came out, everything still in place. Looked at the original paper from the file, and in that file, I saw on the front of the one it had his name, um, Brian Dell, and Roy Bryan, and then Roy Bryan. They didn't have business.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for that video. I wanted to play that video because I want to kind of give some type of foundation to people who may not know what happened and how this have all came about. Want to give a shout out to Jerubu Hill, who I have not met. Keith Beauchamp, the filmmaker that's pursuing the facts surrounding the happenings in the whole Emmett Till situation. And I also want to thank Brother Stockstill, who was the circuit clerk that you all just saw there, who was very instrumental in helping the family search out this warrant that had been there for 67 years. See, I get real frustrated when we not. I get real frustrated when we not focusing our attention on the things that really matter. So what I want to do, I just called out three what we would term professional. I hate the term professional. Black people that's using their professionalism. See, I don't like profession because I know what that connotates for us. I know what white supremacy institutions have subscribed to that word for black people. See, to me, black professional people have sold black people out. But see, we have to have some black professionals, and I'm using the word professional for the sake of this conversation. We have to have some black professionals that's consequential for black people. I'm just going to try and be as clear as I can possibly be. Because black professionals have sold black people out for the dollar. For the dollar. You understand very well, black professionals, how white supremacy works. And you don't want to do nothing to deter, interfere with, intercept, be diametric to white supremacy. You don't want to do nothing. That's where your bread comes from, and that's who your orders come from. So when I run across black people who have used their skill set, see, I like the term skill set, experts. It don't tie you to white supremacy. It means you have developed something that can be useful. And like John Henry Clark said, that's another problem. We don't respect our teachers. John Henry Clark said, use all your tools in the benefit of your race, for the benefit of your race. That's what white supremacy is all about. So they use all of their tools and all of ours, the best of ours, to keep this system in place. To keep this system in place, black professionals. So I'm going to give a shout out to the black professionals who use their skill sets to be consequential to the positive outcome of black people. So shout out Jerubu Hill. Shout out Keith Beauchamp. Shout out Brother Stockstill. He didn't shy it down when Malik asked him, would you be interviewed on finding that warrant? He didn't think about he'll lose his goddamn job. He said, yes. He said, yes. I'm glad that I was able to see. You see what he said? Look at what he said. He said, I knew that a judge had to order something. So what he was doing, he was using his professional capacity to understand the nature of his job as a circuit clerk, to understand the logistics of the office. And it said, if this is how law worked, then it had to work like that in 1955. Y'all see what I'm saying? So what he did deductive reasoning. And he came to a point where he was able to point the family in the right way. And now the family come in with the spirit of Emmett Till, because I talked to some of the family. I read the article. And they said the spirit of Emmett led us there. Well, it wasn't just the spirit of Emmett, even though it was there, it was also the skill set of Mr. Stockstill. See, that's why black professionals have to be consequential to the outcome of black people, or else we're going to have to cut them off. And that's why a lot of people don't mess with this type of thing, this black liberation movement type thing, because it takes them away from their professionalism and their allegiance and loyalty to white supremacy. Professionals, black professionals are policy keepers. They are policy keepers. I'm not afraid to be wrong. But if I'm right, I'm going to be loud about it. I'm not afraid to be wrong, but if I'm right, I'm gonna be loud about it. I'm gonna be public. It's my brother, Emmett Till. I told the family, I said, Emmett Till may be your blood, but he's the spirit of black people. So history runs in a circle, and it has come back around, and it's fell in our lap. How important do we think we are? How important do we think we are? That's the question. We ain't just finna put Carolyn Bryant Dunham through due process of law. We're gonna put ourselves through it. We have to decide whether or not we have humanity. Let's go back to these black professionals. And I want some people to chime in here. I don't want a monologue. I don't want a monolithic conversation. I want a conversation that's full. I want some people to talk. What's going through your mind? Going through your mind. John Henry Clark said, we ain't responded to nothing that's consequential to our race. We have not responded to nothing. And we had the opportunity to respond. An act of Congress couldn't keep me from being in Greenwood yesterday. An act of Congress could not keep Patrick Lumumba from being in Greenwood, Mississippi yesterday. Because I wanted to go to war. 99.9% of us going to sit back and watch as things happen. I want to go to war. About my brother, Emmett Till. I want to fight the constructs of racism and white supremacy that makes it okay for a white woman to lie. The inherent power, the built-in power that white women have in a system that they men have hashed out. But we around here want to have a goddamn gender war with each other. Black women in the conscious movement posing conscious all the time, straight up feminists. But look what white men have hashed out for their women, the power that they women have to tell a lie and result in the death of black men. That has happened time and time again. Emmett Till was the most polarized, most famous happened. And Carolyn Bryant Dunham, you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay. You see, I had to live with a 2-year-old daughter. The universe gave me her for a reason, to keep my fire burning. I had to live with a 2-year-old daughter. Thank you, John C. Barnett. Got to get acquainted with you, brother, because you were instrumental in what happened in Raleigh, North Carolina. But see, I'm trying to stick to what I'm saying. I got a 2-year-old daughter that was born into a world. Think about this. I know we don't. That were born into a world where it was normal to see people walking around with masks on their face. What are you saying that for, Patrick? No, you listen. Y'all listen to me. That's a world I didn't create. But that's a world that I'm in. I wasn't born in a world where it was normal for people to have masks on their face. You had masks on your face, you finna do something that not conducive to you finna do something wrong. But that's normal for us. So that's very normal for a daughter that's 2 years old. What I'm talking about. I'm talking about what kind of world we're gonna live in. Heard a brother say the other day, 10 years from now, we'll be hard pressed to find a real black person. We spiraling into the abyss of irrelevance. I'm talking about black people. We are spiraling into the abyss of irrelevance. And we live in a society that has socially engineered our humanity out of existence. So what I'm saying is that if we don't stand today for something on this cause, this mighty cause, it ain't just about Emmett Till. It's about our humanity. So all the black professionals, what are you gonna do? Tell you what they're doing. They capitulating. That's right, Brother Kareem. Every so-called black Afro organization should be on this battlefield. Right now, I'm on the brink of organizing grassroots leadership in Mississippi. We're gonna call it magic. We're gonna call it magic, and I'm gonna tell y'all what that means before the broadcast ends. It's an acronym, magic. It's a powerful idea that's in my head that the ancestors then gave me. We're gonna organize that. But see what we got a professional class of black people who ready to sell black people out at the drop of a hat. And they think that shit is okay. And we have to challenge that. We have to challenge that notion that black professionals think it's okay to sell black people out. Right now, the DA that's on this particular case, Brother Barnett, the DA, Brother Barnett, that's on this case is a brother by the name of Dwayne Richardson. And his approach, and I always say this, we need to watch how we approach white supremacy. Keep Brother Kareem coming up there. I want to come back to it right there. Just keep it up there. We got to watch how we approach white supremacy. We can approach it with the idea of being men and women, or we could approach it the way that we've been doing, business as usual. And this brother is a business as usual type of guy. White supremacy operate very effectively in putting these type people in place. When you're talking about specifically, what I'm saying is that his whole approach to this issue is to disavow it, discredit it, throw it away, push it back. Whole approach. But when I look at his resume, when I look at what he has done, recent cases that he's tried, I see him sending black men after black men after black man after black man after black man, successfully charging them and convicting them. So that had become the modus operandi, the mode of operation. But when this fall in your lap, Brother DA, Brother Dwayne Richardson, when this historic happening of events come all the way back around and fall in your lap, you don't go to bat for black people. That brother is not going to bat for black people. Dwayne Richardson, that's his name. He ain't going to bat for us. He should be chomping at the bit to prosecute this case. But see, we talking about the value of life in the social constructs of America. Whose life is valued? Talk about Frances Cress Welsing. And I think she was the one who said, I won't rest until black children are looked at and valued as white children are. No, this brother approach is to it's gonna expire. That shit don't expire, bruh. I'm sorry. You ain't gonna push that over us. That shit don't expire. Ain't no statute of limitation on kidnapping or murder. No statutes of limitation on that. Don't blow that smoke. Don't blow that smoke, bro. Brother Kareem said, we are the so-called white pastors and Christians. He said, where are the so-called white pastors and Christians that are for freedom and justice for all? See? There you go, brother. There you go, brother. My brother. Say what's real. Like Sister Miller say what's real so that we can deal with it. Say what's real. What the pastors at? What the Christians at? Where y'all Christians at? Everybody that I seen on those steps yesterday, they had on African gun. What the regular Christian people at? I'm talking about the ones who ain't got shit to do with Africa or none of that. Everybody that I seen out there that cared had cultural gums on. Everybody. Outside of the white folks who were there to because they wanted to know who cared. Is these black folk gonna respond? What kind of story gonna be made of this? Where y'all at? Christian, where you at on this issue of our brother Emmett Till? Do we have a picture of Emmett Till? Do we have a picture of Emmett Till? If we have a picture of Emmett Till, at some point, put it up. I want the picture of the I want him, and I want the picture of his corpse. We don't care enough. We don't care enough. So this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with capitulated leadership in the black community. Mississippi on the Move is on an active campaign of speaking to that capitulated leadership that has surrendered us to the throes of white supremacy. And when we sitting here with a DA, there he is. Y'all look at him, 14 years old, had to fight for his life. And one thing I heard about Emmett Till that just came across my spirit, because I done heard all accounts. And the best account I heard is from Mayor Johnny Thomas down in Glendora, Mississippi. I tried to contact him to see could I have him on this particular show. But he tells a great history of this occurrence that happened to our brother Emmett Till. And the one thing that I gleaned from that 14-year-old ancestor of ours is that he never gave in to them crackers. He never gave in to them crackers. He never begged for his life. He never begged for his life. I mean, think about that. Think about that. Think about it. After seeing Uncle Mose get overtaken at his own doorstep, Emmett laid in the bed with his cousin. Uncle Mose, to no avail, was able to stop these crackers from abducting Emmett Till from the home. Think about the fear that had to be going through Emmett at that time. You dragged out of your only safe space. That's why we always talk about creating safe spaces. When he was drugged out of that safe space with no protection to an angry mob of white subhumans. That's why we out there. That's why we out there. Where you at? Where you at? Look at that. Look at that. These crackers. See, if y'all knew the story, you would be upset too. But look at that picture. Look at the comparison in that picture. His body was so disfigured that by the time they had the funeral, which was before the trial of the two white men, Milam and Bryant, stood trial, this disfigured corpse of this beautiful, young, handsome man, young boy, not boy, I mean not man, boy. The defense attorney for these savages used that corpse to say that this was a man. They used this corpse to say that this was a man, to take the sting and the emotion out of what the prosecution would try and make of him being just a boy. See what I'm talking about? Look at the corpse. What they did, they brutalized it to a point where they could argue that that was a man. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm not no type of courtroom attorney, but y'all need to understand what I'm saying. These are the evils and the depths that white supremacy would go to. Elijah Muhammad said, you can't fathom the depths of Satan. You cannot fathom the depths of Satan. I heard Elijah Muhammad also teach. He said, one day I'm not going to have to tell you or teach you that the white man's the devil. He's going to show you himself. Some of y'all got your eyes closed. No, most of us got our eyes closed. That's right, Brother Kareem. Emmett Till, our brother, our cousin, our nephew, our son. How can we not feel that? How can we not recognize that we live in a system that don't value black life? And how could we not want to do something about that in this hour? I'm not no damn protester, no marcher, or none of that. I come to demonstrate. I come to demonstrate to whoever it is that we serious about this. We serious about this, and we're gonna change it. We're gonna change our reality. Some people say, well, we got to be able to change the system. I'm not interested in changing white folks' system. See, we got to be interested in building our own. And see, in building your own system, you automatically change white folks' system. I'm not interested in changing. I'm interested in building our own. We got to stop learning from these memes. We got to stop learning from these memes and social media. Pick a goddamn book up. Pick a book up with some content in it so that we can tolerate a conversation. Half of us already dropped off this already because we cannot tolerate conversation. We want to scroll down a social media platform. That's what we want to do. Our whole attention span has been taken away. That's right, Sister Chris. We had to talk to our elders. We don't even do that no more. We don't even go back and talk to grandma and them. See, that's how you get the best account. Carolyn Bryant Dunham still living to tell her side. It's black people that still living that we need to listen to. We need to listen to them. See, all what I got to say, I'm not trying to teach quantum physics. I'm trying to show black liberation. We got black people that's capable of teaching quantum physics. But we need them in the confines of our own space. We got to create our own space. White supremacy, we're at war, white supremacy is winning. That's right, brother William. So we have capitulated leadership. We know that. It's not just in Mississippi, but we focused on Mississippi right now. We have capitulated leadership all over Mississippi, all the way up to the highest ranking. Let's talk about that. My beloved brother Benny Thompson. I'm not attacking Benny Thompson. Actually, I met Benny Thompson before in Tula, Mississippi, years ago. Great brother. Had done a lot for the Delta. Highest ranking African from Mississippi as a congressman. Y'all seen him on national broadcast talking about the attack on democracy. Only thing I say, Benny Thompson, is you got an attack right here at home. You got an attack, Benny Thompson, I'm sorry, right here at home in your Delta. And we want that same power that had been appropriated to you, Benny Thompson, to operate consequentially for us. You did a great job, Benny. I watched you. You articulated well. You made your points clear. You cross-examined people very well to show and expose the Proud Boys and their attack on what is called democracy. But what are you going to do about this, Benny? My beloved brother, what are you going to do about this? It ain't just an Emmett Till case. Don't let them couch that. It ain't just about Emmett Till. It's about our future and how people gonna look at us, what we do in this moment. It's about that. It's just as monumental as Roe versus Wade. You see how that changed the whole social dynamic of America? If black people were serious, like Francis Chris Wilson said, if we were serious, we would change the social dynamic with this. Do we think we that serious? Do we think we have that much value? Roe versus Wade gaslit all of your platforms. That's all we was talking about. Why we not talking about this? Why y'all not sharing this broadcast? Let your own conscience deal with you. You got black children, and they need to have a future. Who gonna provide? Who you waiting on to provide that future for your children? If anybody want to come on this show, let us know. We want to talk to you. If anybody want to come on, let us know. But I want to ask that question. The humanity of black people is at stake right now. And there's some black people that I like to talk to that's holding the keys of progress that need to be addressed. Starting at the top, Benny Thompson, we need you to chime in on this. Brother Benny, not attacking you, but I am calling you out. Not attacking you, but I am calling you out. If you can stand and represent and protect democracy. And white folks seeing you capable to represent in that hour what it is that they want to say to the nation. They saw you capable. And should not we see you capable of doing this for your people and shining a light and coming to Mississippi and talking to us, putting pressure on Brother Dwayne Richardson to do what's right. We ain't gonna let it rest. We ain't gonna let it rest. What we got? That's right, Brother Abdul Aziz. That's right. Peace and power, Brother Nick. Glad to see you tuning in. Yeah, we got a situation, my brother. We got a situation. We'll be calling on you soon because we're gonna blow this thing up. I was telling some brothers we had radio broadcast out of Philadelphia, Time for an Awakening. And I like to send a shout out to those brothers. I hope they chiming in too, for doing a great job for on the interview after we come back from Natchez. This is one of the brothers, Nick Bessel, who's so profound and effectively prepared that weekend for us. But those brothers, Elliot and Brother Richard up there with Time for Awakening broadcast, they look down south. And they seen black people doing something. They say, hey, brother, would you come be on our show and talk about the Black Liberation Movement and Mississippi on the Move? And I told them I'd be glad to. Those brothers gave a very profound interview. Their insight is on a high level, understanding our social dynamics and understanding the relevance of what it is that we're doing down here. They were able to point out some things and make us understand that they were very interested in what took place yesterday. So I want to let them brothers know that we on the ground. We boots on the ground and we down here being effective. We doing what it takes and we willing to go all the way with this. So we're going to have to put pressure behind the capitulated black people that's holding the black community hostage. We're going to have to put some fire behind them. With that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, they are. Yes, sir, Brother Nick. Yes, sir, they are. And we talked about some very, very, very important things. And they'll be having us back to talk about it. But see, the thing is, the conceptualization of these things have to become practical. They have to become practical. And Brother Elliot on that show said something. He said, power is a tangible thing. Yeah, we talk about power in the abstract, but we recognize power tangibly. What do you mean by that? Well, talking about black school systems is a powerful idea. A powerful idea. Yes, sir, Brother Carl, they are. Talking about black agriculture development is a powerful idea. There's no culture without agriculture. See, you just read memes. You just read memes. Learn how to irrigate land. So it's going to take you reading a book, studying some things to understand that. Of course, you understand no culture without agriculture. You got to eat. You got to eat. You can't build a nation. You can't eat. We got to practice group economics. See, that's meme reading. We done got to the point where we meme reading. But see, what is the practical application of that? That's right, Richard Larson. Black First. Good to see you, brother. I ain't seen you in a while. Appreciate you chiming in. We got to be critical, and we got to decide to do something. We have become knowledge pontificators, intellectual masturbators. Y'all know all the terms. We talk this shit, but we just capitalist exploiters of our own people, because you ain't gonna exploit nobody else in this society. Ain't nobody else situated for you to exploit them. So you can only exploit your own people. You can't go put stores in nobody else's community. You can't do that. See? Hell, you really can't even sell nothing to nobody else. They ain't buying your shit. I mean, I'm just trying to be real. Been doing this for 25 years. I've heard every school of thought out there. We still at the bottom of the social hierarchy with all this knowledge, all this information. Why? Why? Because we ain't decided yet that we're going to put ourselves first. We have not decided to represent the moral character that's going to show the world our humanity. See, we got to have institutions set up. We got to institutionalize our blackness, our understanding of things. We can't be coming into consciousness at different times. You know, a child don't know his ABC by the time he's 8 years old, you know something wrong with him. Why? Because the system of racist white supremacy determined that he learned it by a certain time. Otherwise, he's functioning illiterate. So if you don't know that black people need to be practicing group economics by what age, y'all determine it. Y'all the educators. I'm a liberator. So I'm ready to put the schools in place. Y'all educators determine by what time do we need to understand certain algorithms to run certain things. Determine how early black children supposed to be developing civic ideas of how to maintain their own townships. Y'all determine that. But see, you're too busy with your head stuck up white folk ass. You professionals. Get your head out of white folks' ass and build something. Build something of your own. Stop being paycheck slaves. Use your skill sets to develop something for our children's future. I got a 2-year-old daughter. And I don't want time to run out on me. It bothers me every morning I wake up, time the sunrise. How I'm going to make a future for her. See, I can't do that just by myself. I make her leave her some money. I make her leave her a trucking company or something like that. But I can't leave her a world that respects her. I need y'all to help do that. I need you to care for her the way I care for your children. The reason why I was out there on those steps yesterday. Share this broadcast. We got something going on in Mississippi that the world needs to be responding to. The whole black world needs to be responding to what's going on in Mississippi right now. In the same way when our brother was murdered for 3 days on the back of a pickup truck. He never gave up. He never begged them crackers for his life. How you know that, Lumo? See, that's what y'all do. How you know that? I cared enough to go around people who could tell me the story. That it was black men who were so petrified with fear, tied to these crackers' economy down in Glendora and Money, Mississippi, and all them different places. You don't know the fear that we always say we wouldn't have done that. But when your whole existence is tied to these crackers, you already sell out. You sell out now. You selling out now. Don't tell me you wouldn't have did what them two black men did to help tie Emmett down. Emmett was fighting them motherfuckers, just like Ahmaud Arbery. We don't just give our life up. Yeah, I'm emotional. Because there ain't enough of us that care. It ain't enough of us that care. So I have to be Pat, why you spending so much time doing that? Black folks ain't gonna do nothing. Get out of my face. Get out of my face. Black liberation movement don't pay you no money. What my brother Carl said. The brother said, my brother Carl Tone Jones, he said, and that bothered me too, Carl. It bothered me for you. But it came to my spirit what my response would be. Now, what it was, the brother told Carl Tone, who asked you to liberate us? Yeah, that could be very, very deflating to somebody that's trying to help our people in this manner. You know, we got people out there that ain't asking to be liberated. And I got the perfect response for them, Carl Tone. Who asked you to liberate us, Lumumba? I'm not fucking talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Who asked you to speak? I'm not talking to you. Who asked you to liberate us? I'm not talking to you. You fully exemplify that you a slave and you happy. I'm not talking to you. Why are you here? That's right, Nick. They can stay on the plantation. They can stay on the plantation. And there's a picture of us right there on the courthouse. Put that picture back up there, Sister Crystal. Picture of us on the courthouse steps. You mind putting the picture back? Let me get ready to shut it down. So there stands some powerful brother. She gonna tell you that I ain't talking about myself. I'm talking about those that's flanking me. Look at that picture. And look at some black men in Mississippi and women in Mississippi is ready to put it all on the line. We ready to put it all on the line. This ain't just about Emmett. Emmett's spirit is resonating. It's about our humanity. That's right, Anita Hayes. We ain't turning back. For what? To turn back is to admit defeat. And we render our children the future of nothingness. What will black people be 10 years from now? And we determine what we're going to politicize ourselves to be. What will black people be as we getting politicized out of relevance? LGBTQ community. All these different things that's going on, diametrically opposing the nature of black people. I'm sorry, but I ain't sorry. It is what it is. Dog eat dog. We about past our time. Wanted to come on and let the world know that we got something going on in Mississippi. Emmett Till had reemerged. The spirit of Emmett Lewis Till has reemerged into our reality. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? Black men, black women, contact me if you want to become part of what it is that we're doing in Mississippi. Trying to find what came to my spirit today. We organize, we find it. Bear with me 1 second. We're going to create grassroots coalition. Called Magic. Grassroots coalition called Magic. Right here in Mississippi. Trying to find that acronym, what I did with that. Magic. Mississippi Associated Grassroots Interference Committee. Magic. Mississippi Associated Grassroots Interference Committee. This is an organization of grassroots leadership in Mississippi, y'all. That's designed to disrupt the social power of white supremacy. We're looking for people to become involved with the process of what we're doing with Mississippi on the Move. We got to get involved, people. We got to get involved. That's right, Stacey Lee. Scared people can't make change. Scared people can't make change. See, we tend to think that it was the educated black man that was presenting diplomacy to white people, the articulated diplomacy to white people that you saw on the scene, that white people wanted you to see. But it was people behind the scenes, so you got to do the research. You got to go to Natchez, Mississippi and see who started the Deacons of Defense. White people were not afraid of educated black men trying to articulate, and women trying to articulate in a manner of diplomacy with them. They weren't afraid of that. You ain't got a sermon preacher that's going to change the lack of morality of white people. You ain't got a sermon that's going to do that. Educated black man, you ain't educated enough to enter into negotiation with the white man in a manner of diplomacy that's going to change his mind about white supremacy. You ain't got that. You know how to deal with this crowd. Thank you, Stacey Hill. We appreciate you chiming in. As I close this program down, let's get rid of the capitulated, scared to death ass Negro. Sick of these Negro pens that cause the first line of defense when we begin to go after our humanity. I'm sick of them. Whether they be in the pulpit or city hall, I'm sick of them. And you ain't my worst enemy. You my brother that have been affected by my worst enemy. Did y'all understand that? You not my worst enemy. I hate when we say we are our own worst enemy. I hate that because you ain't got a critical assessment of what's really going on. You can't if you're saying that. I want to learn to look past you, but I can't do that either. So Y'all contact me. I just do Facebook. I don't really do Instagram or whatever. But contact me. DM me. Patrick Alexander on Facebook, Chief Organizer Facilitator of the Mississippi-based Black Liberation Movement. We're gonna establish magic. That's the Mississippi. What I said was, it just came to me today, but we're gonna establish that. That's from the ancestor. Mississippi Associated Grassroots Interference Committee. Okay, we're gonna establish that because if it can be done here in Mississippi, it can be done anywhere. That's the rationale. We got resources here. We got land. We got culture. We got people. We got black people all over Mississippi. More black people ratio to proportion than any other state in the United States of America, followed by Louisiana, right across the street from us. So what better place to do it? And not only that, the ancestors gave me this too. We have a history of oppression that's a powder keg for change. See, most of us haven't suffered enough to change. But black people in Mississippi, oh yeah, the whole United States, like Malcolm X said, south of Canada is the South. But black people in Mississippi have suffered the full blunt force, unadulterated blunt force. We have governors on record that said we're going to do it Mississippi style. Every one of our governors in this state have followed that same modus operandi. Hell no, Frankie Rain. U.S. is not a government for us. And if we still have to tell people that, see, that's fundamental. I'm glad you put that up there. If we still have to tell people that, that's how far behind we are. That's why we got to build institutions. That's why we have to have people like Kamal Kareem, who's standing right there with me. Shabaka Afrika, that was influential in everything that I had to say yesterday. Because I talked to him before I went. Because I talk to my elders. People think I talk a lot. No, I listen a lot. So when I'm around you who don't listen, I talk a lot. But you ain't got shit to say no way. I don't want to talk about these celebrities all goddamn time. These celebrities have sold us out. They don't identify with their blackness. They don't even fuck with you. I ain't got time to talk about them. They ain't no standard for me. We'll leave it alone. We got Emmett Till back in our lap, y'all. And the universe got it, has aligned it so that we can respond. We can let the world know that we have a humanity, so we have an opportunity here. So y'all can contact the Black Liberation Movement. And I wish I had, we got people on the ground in Greenwood. We trying to get, 1,200 people to sign a petition to get this capitulated brother. I'm gonna respect him. We're gonna get this capitulated brother who has already taken notion not to push this issue after this live warrant has been discovered. He's finding reasons. He's finding reasons not to prosecute. But we found the legal reason to make him prosecute. You better do it right. See, she 87 years old. Why y'all bothering her? No. She has evaded justice for 67 years. It's her humanity greater than ours? They killed a 14-year-old black boy. I don't want to hear that shit. She 87 years old. I don't want to hear it. See, you speaking to your own humanity now. See, John Henry Clark said it best. He said, our humanitarianism is our best asset. He said, but our humanitarianism is our worst asset. We come from a place where we wouldn't even know jails. To being the most incarcerated people on the planet. What did that? How do you come from a culture that it ain't even a history of jails and end up being the most incarcerated people on the planet? Because you live in a system that's not yours. You live in a system that's diametrically opposed to you. We got to build some power, y'all. That's why I don't say peace and power. I say power and peace. You ain't gonna have no peace until you get some power. And white supremacy is designed to keep on disrupting you. We're gonna have to get some power. Y'all contact me. I'm Brother Patrick Lumumba of the Black Liberation Movement, Mississippi. We operate a agenda called Mississippi on the Move. And if Mississippi is on the move, we all on the move. Thank y'all for chiming in. We'll be back to our regular scheduled time of 7 o'clock Thursday night. We just had to let everybody know what took place yesterday. If you have any more questions, you can inbox me. You can contact me some kind of way. And we also are a solely independently funded organization. We don't do grants and all that shit. We don't do that. Okay? If you don't help us, we ain't gonna get help. So hit that cash app. It's rolling across the bottom of the screen. Hit that cash app. It's rolling across the bottom of that screen. I heard a Bible say, I'm gonna say this today. He said we gotta pay a black tax. The Black Liberation Movement has a black tax that's designed to be paid. And that's how we were supposed to be funded and how we supposed to operate off a black tax. We had a black tax of $1 a day. You can't give $1 a day. Figure out what you can give to help us build a nation for our people. Thank y'all for chiming in. I'm gone for real this time. Think about our humanity. Think about our humanity. Until next week, Thursday night, 7 o'clock, we'll see you then. Power and peace. Thank y'all for chiming in.